This is the New York City FC Pregame Live. Today, New York City look to make it 4 wins in a row as they welcome in Inter Miami. And now, here are your hosts, Glenn Crooks and Matty Lawrence.
Well, hello, everybody. Just a bit of a halting presence there as Matty Lawrence to my right, to your right also. Yeah, as you see it, I'm Glenn Crooks. We're providing the radio commentary today, beginning at 12:45 of the pregame show with Pascal Janssen, and kickoff here at Yankee Stadium slated for 10 minutes past 1 o'clock p.m. One of 2 games that'll kick off on a Sunday simultaneously here in Major League Soccer. And Matty, good to see you. I want to stick with Pascal for a moment because we get to spend time with him. I get to spend 15 to 20 minutes every week in a pregame briefing where we sometimes turn the mic off and have other things to chat about as well. So it's been wonderful to get to know him, to watch him. He needed 37 games to get to that 20 wins. That's better than Ronnie Dyla, who did it in 38, Patrick Vieira in 43, Dome Torrent in 44. He's got the best winning percentage of any of the previous coaches at 54.1 and more points per game, 1.78, than any head coach in club history. And he's doing it here in 2026. We say it time and time again, and it'll come up as always until a number 9 is acquired, but it seems like Nico Fernandez-Marcao is learning how to acquire that position, and he's doing it well.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, considering NYCFC are playing without a number 9, the man who plays as their number 9 has scored 4 in 4. So it's not bad at all.
Well,
do I think it's sustainable? Not particularly throughout the season. Would I rather Nico Fernandez-Marcao in a place where I think he can be more dangerous? I think that is a 10. I hope that can happen at some point. But Maxi Morales, time and time again, Glenn, just goes the whole 90 minutes or as near as damn it. For a guy who's 39 years old, for a guy who's only recently recovered from ACL surgery, his quality on the ball, and it's really on the ball. Yes, he works hard off the ball, but he's all about on the ball. He's technically fantastic, and he hasn't started to wane. It feels as though he hasn't waned then. He's in his late 30s and he hasn't gone downhill. It doesn't seem. So Fernandez-Marcao can play in that 9 role ahead of him, that 9.5, as Pascal Janssen calls it. I make him right. And it is working. The squad's not massive. You know, that at times there's going to be suspensions, there will be injuries. And I think that a centre forward would obviously help.
Well, it's Maxi Morales with 4 goal contributions. Yeah. He's got a goal plus 3 assists. He is now tied with Carlos Heel of New England with 88 career assists. So he's tied at the top of active players in MLS. Maxi, he is all-time active players, 100-plus goal contributions. Maxi is in the 7 hole with 118, 20 goals, and 88 assists. So just some statistics to back up, what he's done. But more so, last year and now this year, coming off the injury that you're talking about at an advanced age is what is, I think, the most impressive.
It is. It's the fact of how well he's recovered from that really devastating injury. It's a devastating injury to any athlete, certainly any footballer at whatever age, but to do it and recover as well as he has late into his 30s is quite spectacular, and I use that word. I know exactly what it means, spectacular. It's very, very hard to do it, and it's been great to see him come back. And as I guess any player should have at that tender age of sort of 38, 39, he's just got a real desire and will to win, because you never know when it's going to be your last few minutes. You never know when it's going to be your last game. And he does it week in, week out. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but he does. He appears in he starts many games, appears in many minutes, and he's a leader as well. I think we've seen in a team that in the last 18 months to 24 months, Glenn, I think has lacked leaders. But Maxi Morales has been a leader even when he's been injured. He's been a real leader at the training ground and in the dressing room, even when he's not been involved.
And on the other side, another gentleman with an advanced age repertoire, Lionel Messi. So he's 38, Maxi's 39. Messi will turn 39 on June the 24th. I showed you this before while we were doing some prep here in our broadcast booth. Messi in MLS has 90 goal contributions in 56 matches. I mean, that's just crazy. Earlier this week, he scored his 900th career goal. That's club and international. That was during the 1-1 tie against Nashville. That was a home game for Inter Miami. Nashville, with the road goal tiebreaker, advanced to the quarterfinals of CONCACAF Champions Cup. So Inter Miami, Rodrigo De Paul, who is not here today, we're going to get into that a little bit at least. He's the one that proclaimed, this is the match of our life. We have to play it like this is the match of our lives. And Miami did not produce. But back to Messi. Among his 899 goals, 672 with Barcelona. I mean, and then 115 with the Argentinian national team, which is remarkable. And then they've only had a single World Cup championship, and I say that because you have the likes of Messi and others, but they won in Qatar to finally get over the hump for him in that manner.
Yeah, he's won everything. He is undoubtedly one of the top 5 players to ever have played the game, if not the greatest. And looking down at your stats, Glenn, it's great to see that number, 672 goals for Barcelona. We're not talking about, playing football in the 1930s. And, Pele scored 1,000 goals, but it's always a little dubious when he's playing just predominantly for Santos. But for Messi to do that at the highest level when he's been man-marked by more than one man, probably since he was 17 years of age, Glenn, he's been double-teamed, treble-teamed. And that ability to find pockets of space, to find freedom, and then his ability to lay the ball off when he knows that he's got 2 or 3 players around him, and then go again and receive it the other side of those 2 or 3, is quite exquisite. Again, and I think what Maxi Morales and Messi have both got is low centre of gravity. They're both small. Neither of them carry a great deal of weight, and they both look after themselves very well, and neither of them have suffered massive injuries. Obviously, Maxi has recently, but before that, I don't think that many injuries. That helps. You have to have a little bit of luck, and also a true dedication to your cause. And I do think that recovering from an ACL injury is much easier when you weigh 110 pounds wet through, rather than if you're Thiago Martins or Virgil van Dijk and you're 210 pounds and you're 6'4".
Yeah.
I do think that load that's going through your joints makes it more difficult. I'm no medic, so I don't know if that's true, but that would just be my assumption.
Well, Miami's only lost 1 game this year, all competition. So they tied Nashville twice, but failed to advance in the CCC, which for them, that was the trophy that had evaded them up to this point. So that's why they put so much emphasis on that in their last MLS match against Charlotte, which was a 0-0 draw in North Carolina. They had started a much revamped lineup. Messi, De Paul, Dane St. Clair, the goalkeeper, didn't even play in that one. He was rested. And so it didn't quite work out for the Wednesday. And now today, you come into this one. And their lone loss was on opening day, 75,000 at the LA Coliseum, when they really got drilled by LAFC 3-0. So it hasn't been a disaster result-wise, but the expectations are always so high.
Yeah, it's far and away not been a disaster because we're only a few games into the season.
Yeah.
But for them, I think they will consider it a disaster might be a little bit melodramatic, but losing to Nashville, as you say, after they rested 10 players in that Charlotte game in the MLS, the regular league season that should be your most important.
Yeah.
It's only Luan who then went on to play against Nashville. Only one of their 11 players went on to play in that really important game, and it didn't transpire. It didn't work out for them. So, yes, it's certainly not what they wanted. But, look, this is a side who are resplendent with real talent. And any team that's got Messi in, they have that ability to win. And you see what's happened with DePaul as well, Glenn. I don't think that will make Lionel Messi particularly happy.
No, and Messi is in the 11, by the way, because there was some question as to whether he might play today, and I don't think there was any question as long as he was in good health because you've got the international break. Yeah. Rodrigo DePaul is not in the lineup. So here's what we can say. He's been deemed injured. We have no idea what the injury is.
It's a contusion, we were told, weren't we?
Well, but we don't really know.
No,
we don't really know. So if it's any sort of a soft tissue injury, any medical person would tell you, do not get in a plane for 10 hours and then have a 10-hour return because soft tissue injuries tend to swell at elevation, even if it's an airplane elevation where the air is made, what do they call
pressurized.
That? Pressurized, yes. But you still suffer from that. So he went to Cordoba, Argentina. His girlfriend, Tini, who, our Argentinian expert, Ariel Huda, said she's a massive deal as far as an entertainer. Her boyfriend is Rodrigo DePaul. Apparently they live together in Miami, so it's not like they never see each other. So he played Wednesday. They don't advance. Now, and he's a DP, by the way, and a leader. And he is in Argentina now, we think. I mean, I suppose he could have flown back in, but he's not in the lineup, and he's already been ruled out on the injured list, so he won't play. So, Matty, you've played this game for a long time, and we learned about this on the drive over to the stadium today, and I think we both kind of had the same reaction, is that no matter what the exact circumstances, no matter what might be in his contract, no matter anything, it's a very bad look.
Yeah, it's a bad look, and it's disrespectful to your teammates, and it's disrespectful to your football club who are paying your wages, and it's disrespectful to the fans of your football club. And overall, especially with a league like MLS, that's just very much its own entity, I feel, MLS, rather than individual clubs. MLS is as one, and it's similar to NBA, similar to NFL. It has rules and legislations, and you sign a centralized contract, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's disrespectful to the league as well, Glenn. It really is. And anybody who says anything different is lying or kidding themselves or naive. The best way to recover from any injury is
to recover.
Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Not
even though they don't have another regular game until after the international break.
You want your injury. I know you know.
No, I know, because soft tissue injuries could be 2 to 4 weeks.
And you want your injury to heal as quickly as possible. Yeah. And the best time to heal is the opening 48 to 72 hours, and not to jump on an airplane. I bet he was on a private jet, so higher than normal, so probably between 45 and 50,000 feet. That's where the private jets fly. And so to me, that's even worse than just a regular commercial jet. And
he was on stage last night.
And he was on stage.
Because it's his girlfriend's birthday, apparently, so he was there. Look, you can understand. Look, as a coach, you want to do things for your players and allow them at times to do things, because I think that impacts performance. The way you manage that also. But we're in agreement. It's not a good look. It's disrespectful, I think, is not an outlandish word to use to describe it at all. I don't believe that's the case. So with all these things coming to fruition, New York City, it seems like everything is leaning in their direction. They didn't have a midweek game, for instance. They're in a very good way. As you can see, we're rolling the starting 11 in the bottom third of our screen. No changes for the New York City Football Club. For Inter Miami, an interesting change up top. And Herman Berterame, $15 million reportedly. Striker, Monterrey, 50 goals in about 110 matches there. But in 4 games with his new team, Inter Miami, no goals, which is ironic. And I point this out, and it'll be part of the pregame chat I have with Pascal Janssen at 12:45 on the radio network, nycfc.com/radio. But Bertahami, he has been held scoreless this year, while Nico Fernandez-Burcao, the 9.5, as Pascal calls him, has 4 goals in 4 games. So it looks like Tadeo Allende will be up top with Messi underneath. It's hard to say. Segovia is a flank player. Silvetti is a flank player. Yeah. So considering the personnel, I think that's probably how the front four will look.
Yeah, and look, Allende's got previous, hasn't he? He got a hat-trick against NYCFC in the playoff game.
That was on the right side of the pitch, though, right?
That was on the right side. It wasn't quite the same place. You're absolutely right. But
still.
But he's very good in front of goal. I love that front four. Segovia and Silvetti are very, very talented as well. So the good thing for Messi is you have to keep your eye on the other 3 as well. So you can't just double, treble team Messi. You've got to keep an eye on the other guys. Otherwise, Allende's already proven he can bang the goals in as he did in that 5-1 win down in Miami. And also, Glenn, the last 2 games against Inter Miami, NYCFC have lost 9-1 on aggregate. That's got to hurt. I hope it hurts anyway. I hope it hurts, and I hope they want to prove something today about their capabilities.
For those who are still with the team, and that's many who played in those matches, they remember them well. But it is it's a different Miami team with a back line and a goalkeeper that have some new members, although one of them is injured. Sergio Ragulian, who started the year injured, finally got his debut against Charlotte, is injured again, so he's out. So Noah Allen will start at left back. Ian Frey, we're familiar with him. Yeah. He'll be on the right. Mikael, a Brazilian, is in the middle with Lujan, who played 40 matches last year for Inter Miami. But it's Dane St. Clair in goal this year, and that's the big change for Miami. Ustari no longer with the program. Drake Callender is having a tough time in Minnesota. Yes. I mean, they've conceded a boatload of goals in their last 2 games.
Yeah, this is not the same Inter Miami team. There's only 4 of the starting lineup played in that 5-1 victory, which is quite amazing. They were all conquering, yet only 4 of them played in that game against NYCFC at the back end of last season. I think they've improved. Mikael, who was at Palmeiras recently, previous to that was at Houston, he's one of the better centre-halves in this league. St. Clair, one of the better, if not the best goalkeeper. Matt Fries will have something to say about that, I'm sure, but Dane St. Clair's right up there. I don't think as good as Matt Fries, but pretty close. So they've solidified in the spine of the team as well. Without DePaul, they're not as good, but they've still got Messi. And Messi, when he's angry, when he's really up for it, which he will be today, we know that there were some heated debates, shall we say, and more in after games, during games against NYCFC. Bunch of the players speak the same language. It's going to be heated down there, and that's when Messi comes to the fore. Yeah. Messi turns up in big games, and this is a big game.
What is he going to be more angry about? The results recently for Miami, or the fact that Rodrigo de Paul went back to Argentina to visit his girlfriend?
I think DePaul going back, because the results haven't been that bad. Yes, they got knocked out by Nashville, but they drew both the games, right? Yeah, they lost on the away goal wall. I think for Messi, it will be that. I think Messi is somebody his age and with his ability, and he's not this person, but he could be, similar to Neymar used to do it. Neymar was injured or suspended every Christmas and went home and spent time with his sister who had a birthday over Christmas. Did it every single time. He's disrespectful to PSG and Ligue 1. Messi, in my opinion, has never done that. He's always turned up. He's always played. Even when he's been injured, he's played. He's a born winner. He wants to win. And yes, I think he knows he's special. And yes, I think sometimes he acts poorly towards referee, but his will to win, you cannot doubt that. You cannot doubt his will to win and his desire to succeed.
And if you look down on the pitch, and we're still over 30 minutes away from kickoff, probably closer to an hour away from kickoff, and the people that have come into the stadium, you'll see more that are closer to the field area, over to the right, and I don't have the capability of zooming in on this. But they are, there's a group of supporters, and a lot of them wearing pink jerseys, waiting for Lionel Messi to come out and start his warm-up. And some of them are holding pads and hoping to get an autograph, but I just don't think that's going to happen, Matty. Well, Matt, you mentioned Matt Freese, and I had a wonderful opportunity to do an interview and moderate it was a Q&A, and we know each other pretty well, so it was very comfortable in front of a group of supporters. And I want to show you this because I gave him my book, put it on frame, and he had already heard about it, and he was very excited to get it. So this is, if there's a better publicity photo for my book, I don't know.
You could have been holding the cover towards
us. That's true. That's true. It was a I wasn't aware the photo was being taken.
I know.
Maybe I would have set that up a little better. But I showed you some of the things that we talked about, and the thing that stood out, and you talked about him being the number one here, or maybe within MLS, or certainly a step ahead of Dane St. Clair at the moment. Dane St. Clair is trying to win the Canadian position. Matt Freese, it appears that he's already won the U.S. men's national team position.
Absolutely.
It is for now.
For now, yes.
But to hear him talk about his 4.5 years in Philly, and knowing that if he ever got a chance, he felt strongly that he put himself on the international level, but he was never quite sure, because he was behind Andre Blake, that he would get that opportunity. I thought it was powerful to hear it coming from him in that way, because it's the truth. And like he said, it's professional sports. You're just not always certain.
It is definitely professional sports, but also it's being a professional goalkeeper. There is only one goalkeeper
that's
there.
Right. That's
I
right.
can recreate myself if I go into a team as a central midfielder, but I can't get in because DePaul's playing there and Kevin De Bruyne is playing there. I can recreate myself. I can say, well, I can play out on the right midfield, or I can play right back, or I'll drop back and play as a holding six or as a centre half. I can recreate myself as a footballer, as an individual. Matt Freese can't. When you're a goalkeeper, it's just you. It's just you, yourself, and I. And when you've got Andre Blake in front of you,
he's got one of the best.
Very, very hard. Right. And Andre Blake will go down, I would have thought, as one of the best goalkeepers ever in MLS history when he retires, because of his longevity there. Yeah. So, it was interesting to hear Matt Freese say that. So he's got such strength of character and such strength of self-belief that even though he was a reserve team goalkeeper, for which he was, he thought that if he could get into the first team, become a first team goalkeeper, he could then make his way to become US men's. That's amazing to hear, because that's a huge trajectory from warming the bench every week to playing in goal for the US men's national team. But congratulations to him, he's done it.
Well, how about how he was discovered? That was the other thing I wasn't certain about. I needed confirmation because I had heard this, but I wasn't sure. Brad Friedel, former U.S. men's national team keeper and former U.S. youth national team coach with the U19s, was at a Philadelphia Academy game, like a U18 or a U19 game, and he went to the keeper warm-up where the goalkeepers were warming up, and that's where he saw Freese. Freese was discovered essentially for the international level by Brad Friedel, seeing him warm up before a game, because he didn't play in that particular game, Matt, but he warmed up, and that's where Friedel said, we got to keep track of this guy.
The thing with goalkeepers' warm-ups before games is they come out an hour before kickoff. Yeah. Players normally come out 40 minutes, outfield players, and they have much more vigorous warm-ups, in my opinion. And then the number 2 or the number 3, or quite often the 1, 2, and the 3 goalkeepers will all warm up. And when the number 1 goalkeeper goes in, the 2 and 3 will remain out there and carry on warming up because they want to stay in the moment. They want to stay mentally attuned to the game. So you do get to see an awful lot from a goalkeeper's warm-up. I would always say to any scout, turn up and watch the warm-up. That's of any players, because you get to see their body language, you get to see how they're reacting with their teammates, the crowd, how enthused they are. I think you can learn an awful lot from warm-ups.
Yeah. Matty Lawrence, Glenn Crooks here, getting ready for the New York City FC Inter Miami CF match here at Yankee Stadium. Apparently 40,000 plus have been sold, so we're expecting a raucous crowd and an advanced turnout here before kickoff. We're about 45 minutes away. When you see people in the upper deck, we're talking about the second upper deck because there's really two here, and you can understand that things are going to fill up nicely. So you talked about atmosphere, and the atmosphere here is going to be really fun.
And look, there's a lot of people milling around on the pavements outside as well, aren't there? This is going to really ratchet up. It's going to be incredibly, I hope, intense here, because that's what you want. And
it's still, it never ceases to amaze me that it's because of one guy. You know,
and it is, and it genuinely is.
Yeah.
There'll be an extra 25,000 people here today because of one individual. And that's why you have to respect Messi as well. He knows exactly what's going to happen. He knows that everybody's coming here to see him, and he turns up as much as he can, and he gives his absolute all. The pulls off with his girlfriend partying in Cordoba in Argentina, and Messi is down there.
Yeah, let's face it, no one was coming to see Rodrigo de Paul anyway.
That's very true.
All right, before we go, let's hear from the captain of the team who spoke this week. And Matty, I wanted to play this one in particular for you because this week he turned 31 years old. So I did ask him the question whether he feels older now that he's 31.
For sure, I feel older. the first like the day of my birthday, I felt like, I woke up like, yeah, I'm feeling. It's already 31. But yeah, I don't know how many more years, but I'm treating my body the way like I can play a few more years, but I don't know how many years. Yeah, there's something like I always joke with the guys. I always joke with my parents, my family, my wife. I always said like when the strikers start to pass through me and I cannot catch them, it's time to stop and like finish career, because especially for center back, it's how I play, you know. It's like when they start to pass through me, it's like time to finish. But like I'm working on my body to continue like that and to catch them and to run faster than them, for sure.
He's still fast enough, Matty.
Well, that's his problem, isn't it? You see, I didn't have the pace, so I learned how to read the game. So I never got 10 yards behind them, and I am kidding here. But yes, I never had his pace. I do also think that his game will change, will evolve a little bit as he gets older. He's got his pace right now to get him out of trouble. And sometimes he's not positioned in the most favourable places. And I think his game will evolve, and he will get better at positional play as he gets older, because he's a smart man. He strikes me as a smart individual and as a smart footballer as well. And he's somebody who suffered quite a number of injuries, and for him to still be in as good nick as he is now at 31 and still to have that turn of pace, I hate to think how quick he was back in the day before the injuries. He must have been absolutely lightning, because he can still chase down most centre forwards and most wingers right now, can't he? At 31, after
injuries. To have someone at the back that can do that is a necessary quality.
Absolutely, it really is. And he certainly said Maxi Morales is a leader, Thiago Martins is a leader, and in a team that was quite bereft of leaders, those two have certainly come to the fore in the last 2 or 3 seasons, in my opinion.
All right, 12:45 Eastern will be when we kick off our pregame coverage on the New York City FC radio network. That's nycfc.com/radio. Also, if you have the NYCFC app, it's on there. If you have the TuneIn app, it will also come up there. And also, at 1 p.m., that's when the Apple television broadcast will begin, and that's where you could use the drop-down feature on the Apple TV app, where you have the possibility of the English hometown radio commentary, so you could listen to our commentary and watch the game. Either way, we're expected to have some fun today. We always have fun.
We always do.
No matter if the game is dull or exciting, we're certainly hoping for a thrill today. Lionel Messi is here. He's in the 11. No changes for New York City as they come in, try to make it 5 games to start the season without a loss against the defending MLS Cup champions. It's all upcoming. Enjoy the game, everybody.